The gods of Lovecraft's universe are not divinities in the traditional sense. They do not seek worship, they do not protect humanity, and they have no comprehensible purpose. They are cosmic entities, primordial forces of chaos, forbidden knowledge, and madness that exist beyond time and space. Some are indifferent to our existence, some enjoy spreading horror, and some are simply waiting. Number 1. Azathoth. Azathoth is neither a villain nor a traditional god. He seeks nothing, plans nothing, feels nothing. He is a blind, deaf, insane god, reigning over a universe he neither understands nor cares about. He is the ultimate terror in Lovecraft's mythology, the representation of the universe's absolute chaos and indifference. The blind, idiot god, the nuclear chaos, the demon sultan, the deep dark, and the cold one. Azathoth is the supreme entity, the absolute god of chaos, and the primordial force that rules reality without even being aware of it. He is not a being with will or purpose, but a cosmic mass of pure chaos and destruction that resides at the center of the universe. His existence is a blasphemy against all logic and order, and his true power is incomprehensible even to the other outer gods. The entire universe is said to be nothing more than Azathoth's dream. If he were to ever awaken, all reality would simply cease to exist. He has no defined form, but is described as an amorphous, bubbling mass, constantly writhing in an incomprehensible frenzy. He is gigantic, cosmic, infinite, stretching beyond space and time. His surface is covered in tentacles, mouths, and eyes that appear and disappear randomly. He radiates a primal horror, a presence that corrupts reality itself. Some descriptions show him engulfed in a whirlwind of black fire, emanating an energy that seems to devour existence itself. He rests at the center of the universe, in a realm of absolute chaos, where physical laws as we know them do not exist. All that surrounds him is a vortex of darkness, fire, and pure energy. Here, a court of hideous entities, lesser gods, and amorphous demons play blasphemous flutes incessantly. These dissonant melodies have no harmony or structure. They are a terrifying sound that keeps Azathoth asleep. If the music ever stopped, the entity might awaken, and with it, reality would instantly disappear. Azathoth does not reason, does not think, does not decide. He is a brute force of meaningless destruction and existence. He cannot be worshipped or negotiated with. He is a god in the most terrifying sense of the word, a being who simply exists, and whose existence is a threat to all others. Number 2. Yog-Sothoth. The door and the key, the all-knowing, the all-in-one, and the one in all. He is said to be everywhere at once, but not in any specific place. He is the embodiment of forbidden knowledge, the key that unlocks the doors of the universe, and the keeper of cosmic secrets. Humans who attempt to summon him or make pacts with him pay a terrible price, as knowing too much about the cosmos inevitably leads to madness, or fates worse than death. He is described as a fluctuating mass of glowing spheres, constantly changing size and position. Each sphere is an all-seeing eye, reflecting infinity on its surface. He may appear to be a sentient nebula, with alien lights pulsing within. He is sometimes shown as a living portal, a being that is literally the door to other worlds. He has no fixed form, for he is the embodiment of cosmic transcendence. He is omniscient. He knows everything. Past, present, and future are the same to him. He is omnipresent. He is not limited by time or space. He is the key to the universe. He can grant unlimited knowledge, but at a terrible price. He is a transcendental being. He is beyond comprehension, having no human desires or emotions. He can grant great deeds, but the cosmic truth he reveals often destroys the minds of mortals. While Azathoth is formless chaos, Yog-Sothoth is the absolute consciousness of the cosmos. He does not act as a benevolent or evil god, he simply is. Some sects and sorcerers seek out Yog-Sothoth to gain power or forbidden knowledge. However, his wisdom is a poison. The more you know, the closer you are to losing your sanity. Whoever invokes him, whoever seeks his knowledge, will pay with madness, oblivion, or the most terrible fate imaginable. Number 3. Nyarlathotep, the messenger of the gods, the crawling chaos, the whisperer in the dark, the bringer of madness. He is known as the crawling chaos because his purpose seems to be to spread madness, despair, and chaos on earth and beyond. Unlike the other outer gods, he is not indifferent to humanity. Instead, he despises it and enjoys its suffering. He wants to see the collapse of humanity, but not quickly, but slowly and painfully. Nyarlathotep does not hide in the cosmic void or in unreachable dimensions. He walks among humans, infiltrating their societies, their beliefs, and their minds. He is an absolute shapeshifter, capable of taking countless forms, from a charismatic man to indescribable creatures. Among his most mentioned forms are the Dark Pharaoh, the Man in Black, the God of 1,000 Faces, the Living Fire Monster, or the Nameless Horror. What makes Nyarlathotep so dangerous is not his physical power, but his ability to manipulate, deceive, and corrupt human minds. He does not destroy with brute force, but with ideas, promises, and lies. He is the most active god on earth. He does not need primitive sects to worship him in caves, as he can infiltrate modern civilization with ease. He is said to have taken the form of prophets, politicians, scientists, and charismatic leaders who lead humanity to disaster. He is responsible for prophetic dreams and visions that lead to madness. He often deceives humans into believing they will gain power or knowledge, only to drive them to utter despair. He has caused wars, suicide cults, and revolutions, always from the shadows. She does not need to destroy the world with her power. Her true weapon is corruption, deceit, and despair. Number 4. Shu Narath, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young, the goddess of cosmic fertility, the mother of abomination, the horror of creation. Shu Narath is the embodiment of uncontrolled proliferation, aberrant fertility, and the corruption of life. She is not just a goddess of creation, she is a terrible mother, an entity that endlessly breeds horrors and contaminates everything she touches with her dark fecundity. In many fictional tales and grimoires, her name appears in invocations and fertility rituals, but not in a benevolent sense. Those who worship her seek her blessing to create life, but the life she grants is not natural. She is described as an amorphous, obscene mass of pulsating flesh. She is covered in tentacles, twisted limbs, and countless mouths. From her flesh constantly sprout monstrous creatures, called her dark offspring. She is often depicted with goat legs and horns, though her actual form is indescribable. Her presence is accompanied by a foul stench and a constant sucking and sloshing sound. She is both a goddess and a living ecosystem, a nucleus of wicked creation that cannot stop producing new life forms. She symbolizes fertility, but in a twisted, monstrous form. She never stops spawning aberrant creatures. Her children are deformed, vicious, chaotic, and evil. She is worshipped by dark cults who wish to multiply their bloodline with impure blessings. In certain regions, fertility and harvest rituals unwittingly invoke her power. Shu Narath is neither good nor evil. Her existence is a force of nature, but in its darkest and most perverse form. Her purpose is not destruction, but the uncontrollable expansion of life, no matter how aberrant or horrible that life may be. Whoever calls upon her will obtain her blessing, and regret having received it. Number 5. Cthulhu, the High Priest of the Old Ones, he who sleeps in R'lyeh, the Lord of Nightmares, the horror who will awaken. Cthulhu is the most iconic creature in Lovecraft's universe, but unlike Azathoth or Yog-Sothoth, he is not an absolute god or an omnipotent entity. He is an old one, a colossal entity that lies dormant in the depths of the ocean, in the sunken city of R'lyeh. What makes Cthulhu so terrifying is not just his appearance, but his influence on the human mind. His very sleep generates nightmares and madness in mortals, and when he awakens, humanity will cease to exist as we know it. In the short story The Call of Cthulhu, we are told that one day he will awaken from his slumber, and when that happens, he will reign over the earth and destroy our civilization, but not with fire or war, but with absolute chaos. With the arrival of a new era where humans will no longer be the masters of the planet. Cthulhu is a colossal abomination, of enormous size and impossible to measure accurately. He is described as gigantic, larger than any terrestrial creature, anthropomorphic body with a twisted humanoid structure, octopus-like head with enormous tentacles that constantly twist, slimy greenish skin similar to that of an amphibian, glowing malevolent eyes which seem to contain an unfathomable horror. Some have described him as an aberration that combines human, cephalopod, and reptilian features, a creature that does not belong to this world or to our understanding of biology. He generates madness just by his presence. Anyone who sees him, even in dreams, is forever disturbed. He controls the minds of certain sensitive humans, influencing them with visions and nightmares. He is worshipped by sects across the world who await his awakening. He is not dead, he is only sleeping, waiting for the stars to align for him to break free. When he awakens, humanity will die out and a new age of chaos will begin. He is not an omnipotent god, but his power is vast enough to overcome anything humans may face. Cthulhu has fanatical followers who believe in his inevitable awakening. These secret sects have existed since time immemorial and are spread across the world. Number 6. Hastur, the King in Yellow, the Lord of Carcosa, the Silent Presence, the God of madness and despair. Hastur is one of the most mysterious and enigmatic entities in the Lovecraftian universe. His very name is taboo, for speaking or writing it might attract his presence, leading to him being known as the Nameless One. Hastur rarely shows himself directly, but when he does, he takes terrible forms. The King in Yellow is his most well-known form, a tall humanoid figure dressed in ragged yellow clothing and a face that must never be seen. He is also associated with Carcosa, a lost city in another world, shrouded in eternal decay and desolation. He sometimes manifests as a colossal shadow or mist that engulfs entire cities, dragging victims into a realm of madness. There are those who believe that Hastur needs no physical form, for his power manifests itself in ideas, words, and thoughts that corrupt the human mind. His influence spreads through symbols and cursed words. He is worshipped by cults that wish to unleash mental and spiritual chaos. Those who seek him rarely live to tell their tale. Hastur is a god of forbidden knowledge and madness, but his influence is different from Nyarlathotep's. He does not need to appear in dreams or manipulate directly. His power is in cursed words and symbols. Hastur is the invisible corruption, the crumbling of reality, the poison that seeps into the mind until it consumes it. A name that must not be spoken, an entity that must not be sought, and a curse that no one can break. Number 7. Ithaka, the one who walks in the wind, the horror of the snows, the devourer of travelers, the god of the frozen storms. Ithaka is one of the most feared entities in the Arctic and frozen regions of the Lovecraftian universe. In many cultures, its legend has been mixed with the myth of the Wendigo, the cannibal creature of North American folklore. Ancient hunters who ventured into the tundra spoke of a gigantic figure walking among the blizzards, waiting for unwary travelers. It is a colossal and skeletal figure, several meters tall, blue or pale skin, almost translucent, as if it were made of ice and shadows, bright red eyes, which can be seen in the darkness of the storm, huge hands with sharp claws, capable of tearing a person apart with ease, a spectral face, sometimes described as a skull shrouded in mist, with a mouth that always seems to whisper curses into the wind. It moves with the wind, leaving no footprints in the snow, and can fly or float through storms. It is said that when it is nearby, the temperature drops drastically, the winds become uncontrollable, and the sky darkens with snowstorms, even in places where they should not occur. It rules ice and storm, causing blizzards that bury entire cities. It stalks lost travelers and drags them up into the heights, where they freeze to death. It leaves no corpses, only footprints that stop abruptly in the snow. Some tribes worship it and offer sacrifices to it to avoid its wrath. It does not hide like other entities, as it likes to hunt and make its presence felt. Ithaka is the terror of the cold, the hunger of the storm, The white death that leaves no trace. No one can escape when the wind turns into its icy breath. Give it a thumbs up if you found the video interesting, subscribe and tell me if you want a part 2 this time with the creatures of this universe.